Who's the most dangerous? The enemy you see or the one you don't? Progressive socialist communist Dems or the rhinos who conceal their corruption in the colors and the cross? Pedo Joe sold out to any and everybody, but Trump to Israel and the FBI. Charlie outprayed, outthought, and outdebated all comers, clearing clouded college minds, turning points for Christ and freedom, and daring to question October 7th while chafing at Zionist donors. So they killed him quick before his mind changed further and more, and he then millions. Bodyguard betrayed, cameras confiscated, script launched. But their downfall is their disbelief. As Yeshua proved, to crucify is to magnify 1,000 times. And their new temple, like the old, will fall in failure. Rape born, orphan adopted, blessed bastard, ex-soldier, special agent spy, tyrant targeted, slave state slandered, turned whistleblower, warrior. Sabotage sharpened, corruption crucibled, redemption repurposed, maker missioned as chaplain, leader, teacher, and truth teller to power. Now America's intelligence officer, leading with the last, forging with the first, standing alone together on our new trail of tears to rescue the republic, restore America's godliness. I'm Jeff Prather, and this is the Prather Point. Welcome, everybody. Big and important show today. Glad to see everybody here. Give you some of that there. This is Bodyguard hit, staff cover-up, FBI script, but also Trump designates Antifa as a terrorist organization. The methods may still remain murky in Charlie Kirk's assassination, but the motive and the murderers are fairly clear. John Michael Cullen will be in on shortly on ballistics and trajectory. And Charlie's final gift, the bright line between the scripted and the scripters, has never been so clear as before. We can really see the difference there. And we'll later have whistleblower Norwegian Anders BRUNSTAD'S ICC bioweapon complaint. And we recall Tucker's outing of BIBI'S tribute hijack, Shapiro taking over Trump Turning Point with other Zionists, and CYBERWELL infiltrating all media channels for anti-Semitism for the thought police. But before we go any further, remember I have a 2025 Beginners Summit, my last in-person training of the year, October 18th, Tucson, Arizona. You can call 520-977-5868, 520-977-5868, or email lewis.r.breton@gmail.com, louis.r.breton@gmail.com, if you are interested in attending that. And so you'll learn great gun safety, disappear in a gunfight, shoot faster in crisis, stack the odds in your favor. That's October 18th, 8:30 to 5:30. And you can also find it published on all of my sites as well. But before we go any further, I also want to hit all my sponsors. Of course, sat123.com. Sat123.com is the satellite phone store. Those are my best sponsors and biggest sponsors and very loyal. Of course, I just had Brett Miller on, but I've got my cataract surgery done. So my eyes are back 20/20 at distance, 20/20 at close. I exceeded expectations, as I like to do. But I had some other people cut on me recently, and now we got something of a head cold. So I'm using my Curative Bay hypochlorous nasal spray today. And it's really working great. That's in the shop at jeffreyprather.com shop, along with a lot of other great products. Chaplain Krista keeps gallon buckets of it outside of their children's and rooms for that. And also we've got my great coffee in there, teamamericacoffee.com or staybrewedcoffee.com. This is my favorite. It's night and day. We were just waiting for this to get here. Freshly brewed coffee. It is the best. Don't drink that Black Rifle crap from the trannies there and the treasoners there as well. Also, don't forget to get your Faraday bags in the Jeffrey Prather shop. Really important to have. All Team America members got to have those. If you want privacy, you got to have those. So make sure you get those as well. And got some of my books. If you still want signed copies of my books, Initiation or Chase, you can get those in the shop as well, or you can email help@jeffreyprather.com. Send you signed copies of those as well. And lots of other great things like Freedom is Taken t-shirt there. I don't usually talk about my stuff enough, so I'm talking it up. That's in the shop as well. And the Prather Point, real nice shirts. Because when I was up there with Team America Iowa, they had a shirt. I'm like, well, we have Team America shirts and hats. So I guess a lot of people don't know about that. So I thought I would do a little marketing, because I don't do much marketing ever. But to get into the debate of the show, the depth of what's going on is, it certainly looks like a Bodyguard hit. It looks like a staff cover-up. Looks like the guy was reaching under his shoulder with some kind of exotic weaponry. Could be a Derringer, could be a cell phone gun, could be an electric gun, could be a flechette gun. So I don't teach those techniques very openly. I teach them to very few. With a conventional semi-automatic weapon, the way he is holding it would not work. But he wouldn't have a conventional weapon. He'd have an exotic weapon, as I just said, with a 2-shot Derringer or 2-shot cell phone or electric gun or something like that. He could also reinforce his clothing. But also, it's come out that a lot of people think it's the camera behind, which was immediately taken down as well. And so I want to acknowledge that I am fallible, and I admit when I'm wrong. And I think my initial impressions there were a mistake, although my conclusions my methods appear to have been wrong. My motive and conclusions, the motive of shutting up Charlie before he started denouncing Israel and Netanyahu, remain accurate. And the murders, the assassination, remain accurate as well. And we're seeing that come out. So, kudos to those who have pointed that out. I've had a lot of responses from people about this. And that's great. That's what I want to do, is respond and have a two-way conversation with you. So thanks to everybody who has sent me videos to look at, and I have looked at them, and I have changed my mind. In particular, David Casciano was particularly helpful there. So thanks for that. And he was referencing George Webb. Of course, George is a friend, but I have come to question George personally on several fronts. But I'm revising my method theories to right and rear shots, but not the murders. His own team, Echelon and/or Schaefer, in thrall to Israel, is what I am saying, to kind of update where I am coming from. So I hope that makes sense to everybody now. And of course, I also want to promote where you can follow, because I've had a lot of more followers sign up at patreon.com/JeffreyPrather. And thanks for that. And that's where you can have a two-way conversation. And, example of a recent two-way conversation, there was a guy who wanted more prepper stuff. So I put up a lot of prepper videos, put up some old ones, did some new ones on the training videos. Noni recently was trying to understand proof that Charlie Kirk rooftop video is AI. And she goes, I don't see it. And I'm like, she or he said, I guess I need some explaining on this. I'm no techie. I'm just seeing a video. So I said, watch vid, read captions, follow arrows, passerby disappears, indicating editing. And then Noni wrote back, yes, I see it now. Thank you. So that's the level of interaction. If you really want, solid interaction with me on a regular basis, then, that's where you can do that. Michael SR56 says, Webb and you are aligned on the actual PSYOP in Greater Utah. Well, that's good to hear as well. There's other good news as well, and that is there'll be a tribute to Charlie Kirk on Friday, where Jimmy Kimmel's show. I stopped watching late night TV or any TV a long time ago. It was so propagandized. But Charlie's martyrdom continues to turn the claymore and co-opt the corrupt media system. So I guess last Wednesday, Nexstar announced that all 32 of its ABC broadcast affiliates will preempt the Jimmy Kimmel live show indefinitely, blasting Kimmel's sick remarks about Kirk's murder as offensive and insensitive. And Nexstar Media Group is the company's largest affiliation for ABC. So this is a major deal, a major turning point. Again, his martyrdom is continuing to force multiply, which is what you expect in martyrdom. Last Monday, I guess during Kimmel's monologue, he said that Kirk was killed by a MAGA conservative, which of course was a flat out lie. The guy's a tranny, leftist, as almost all of them are. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr slammed Kimmel and threatened action, and ABC and Disney. And in a stunning move that will no doubt infuriate Kimmel further, Sinclair Broadcasting Group, the largest owner of stations that are affiliated with Fox, NBC, CBS, ABC, and others, announced it will air a special tribute to Charlie Kirk during the Jimmy Kimmel live slot. Sinclair's ABC stations to air special in remembrance of Charlie Kirk will air. And they went even further in a press release. Sinclair's ABC stations to air a special tribute in remembrance. As discussed, Sinclair decided to indefinitely preempt Jimmy Kimmel live. And Mr. Kimmel's remarks were inappropriate and deeply insensitive. We believe the broadcasters have a responsibility to educate and elevate respectful, constructive dialogue. Well, not so much. His ratings were already fallen. All the lefty DIE stuff is always failing. Nobody likes to get lectured to. They want to be entertained. And also it's all false. You know, as soon as I see the tranny stuff come on, you know, I turn it off. I certainly don't want my children to see that. But Sinclair also calls upon Kimmel to direct an apology. But this is turning the claymore nonetheless, because this is the major mainstream bought and paid for by the intelligence community, deep state, CIA, FBI, being turned. And so that is really important and really good to realize. Meanwhile, though, we see, Trump's envoy to Ukraine, this supposedly a diplomat, just talking trash. Special Presidential Envoy Keith Kellogg said, "We'd kick Russia's ass." That's not how diplomats speak, by the way. I'm a trained defense attaché, although I never acted in that capability, but I worked in a lot of embassies. And they're saying Ukraine has the moral superior over Russia. Zelensky, the drag queen, closing down churches and closing down elections, moral superiority with the Azov Nazis. That's ridiculous. So it looks like Trump has completely reversed himself on this too, and now saying that Russia would collapse as a proxy without China is absurd. Not understanding Russia, not understanding history. Nobody beats Russia, just like nobody beats Afghanistan. It's not the Russians or Afghanis, it's the terrain that you cannot win. And everybody knows that. I see Joe Crosby and Earl Jackson on X as well. That's real good. See a lot of people coming up on Rumble as well. The guy holding the underarm device was the only one who didn't flinch and moved like he was on a coordinated mission. Very true. Mike Adams has also come out and said, and I was just on with Mike, that these text messages out from that the FBI brought out, the script literally, are very fabricated. They don't sound like anything. And this is really the bright line that Charlie is bringing about even in his martyrdom, is it's very clear that the mainstream intelligence controlled media, the FBI, the deep state, the Congress, it's all going to go with an absurd story that doesn't work because their corruption makes them incompetent. While we see a lot of truth tellers and really investigators on X. So X is not a social media platform. It's an intelligence collection platform, and it's an intelligence information operation platform, but it is nonetheless being turned, just like Log Life became Facebook and has been turned a lot. So it looks like fabricated text messages, evidence of spoofing technology, foreign donor pressure. Kirk faced threats from pro-Israel donors who demanded he soften his criticism or lose up to $150 million. And he was not dissuaded. He was too dangerous for that. So it is highly likely that they killed him for that. I don't see why now is what you always want to ask. Why now? He could have been gotten anywhere, as I've said before, but they wanted to send a message. And then you see right away here, you see 250 legislatures in Israel. You see Ben Shapiro and other Zionist Jews on the Turning Point show taking over. And you see CYBERWELL, a new anti-Semitic product in all the media platforms. So they've taken him out. They're moving to fill the space. They've taken the objective. Now they intend to hold the objective. It is very militarily logical. But the Tyler Robinson text messages look extremely fake and false. And again, it looks like Echelon or Schaefer is behind this. And every time I've been betrayed, and I've been betrayed countless times, it's always been by very close associates. And of course, that fits the Christic protocol, Judas as well. But I'm really interested to hear what our guest has to say about this. I've had him on before, but I don't think this year. I think August and September of 2024, but he's a long-range shooter. He is an expert at trajectories and ballistics. He really brought a lot of light, I think, when we covered Butler in great detail, and I think had the breaking input there. And so I'm talking about John Cullen. So John, welcome back. Glad to have you.
It's great to see you again, Jeff. Thanks for having me back on the show. Good to see you. I'm sorry it's morbid scenario. It tends to be what we work on. So
it does.
Here we are.
It does. Well, thanks for coming on. It certainly is a sad time, but I think the most sad thing, because Erica said his message is going to grow stronger, but I see this being destabilized and taken over. I don't know if you agree with me on that this looks like a Israeli or more correctly Netanyahu Mossad operation via the bodyguards. I don't know if you want to start there or not, or you don't want, or you just want to talk about methods.
So, for those of you who don't know, I have Asperger's. Right, two of my three daughters are on the spectrum. One of them has speech apraxia, doesn't speak. The other's a high functioning Aspie like me. And the whole people part of the story for me is like accounting. It's like I'm not good at the people stuff. Okay. I'm pretty good at, trajectories and angles and math and critical thinking stuff. But when it starts getting into who did this guy work for and who did this guy know, it's like it goes in one ear out the other with me. And it's just, I guess, knowing your own limitations, right? And what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? That's my weakness, is when it gets down to who and why and motives and politics and stuff. But you want to pinpoint a gunshot that was taken, I'll help you find that. Like that's what I'm good at, right? How many gunshots were taken? Where were they when they were taken? So for me, when for those of you who aren't familiar with my work, I started this investigative journalism stuff about 8 years ago on the Las Vegas shooting. And it was the work I was doing there that got me into this. Like, I used to shoot, but not like now, right? So once upon, after September 11th, I bought a couple H&K rifles, SL8, stuff like that. But when I came back to America from Thailand in 2019, I started shooting NRA, long distance, 600 yards, 1,000 yards when I could. Not a lot of 1,000-yard ranges, but I really like shooting at 600 yards, and I started to do well at it. And so I'm NRA rated as an expert at 600 yards, and I shoot fairly high level. Like I'll score 197 out of 200 points, and Rarely I'll get a 200. I'm not one of these high master guys that's ringing, 16 X's on a card. I'm not a 16X guy, but I'll get 5, 6, 8 X's, at a 20 shot. So that's kind of the level I shoot at, but I'm always going to drop a couple points. If I shoot a 200, I'm excited at 600 yards. So that kind of gives you a sense of my qualifications. In other words, hitting a 10-inch target a quarter of a mile away. And, and if I miss by an inch or two. So the Vegas shooting got me involved in all this ballistic analysis. Where were these shots coming from? And then I got into COVID. Then we had Butler, and Butler brought us back into the ballistic analysis. And it was the work that I was doing with both Jason Goodman and the work I was doing with another gentleman who prefers to stay in his existing career, doesn't want a whole lot of publicity here, but he helped build the blender model, the 3D blender model. And that allowed us to do a whole lot of what if scenarios. What if the shots were taken from here? What if the shots were taken from there? What if a shot came from here? Could a shot have come from there? And we were doing all this 3D modeling that really nobody else was doing. And that kind of separated it. And so I guess it was in September of last year, Congressman Eli Crane and Corey Mills testified to Congress that they should look at this evidence that I've put together, and said it by name. Said you should look at John. So that's kind of the work I've been doing, and that kind of takes us to this event. And so one of the first things I tend to do when we have one of these events is take the audio and run it through Audacity and see if I can calculate the crack thump differential. And in this particular shooting, it appears that we hear one gunshot. Now in Butler, I was able to detect suppressed gunfire. And I was able to detect suppressed gunfire on some lousy cell phone recording. The guy's like swinging the phone all around, almost like he had it on a leash. And yet I still was able to pick up suppressed gunfire on Audacity.
That was really impressive. I remember that.
All right. So then the Secret Service guys are interviewed under oath. They have attorneys with them. And they said they were being shot at by suppressed gunfire.
So you're corroborated.
Corroborated under oath.
Right.
And when I said it was suppressed gunfire, I was just going by what I was hearing and what I was seeing on the scope in Audacity. I was seeing the spikes, and I thought, what the hell is that? That's like a 300 blackout suppressed, and it's subsonic because there's no crack and no thump. It's almost like I'm picking up the sound of the bolt cycling in the action. It was kind of crazy. So I played that for Clay Martin. He and I are both going through it, like, damn, man, this sounds like 300 blackout suppressed subsonic, man. And I've got 2 of them, and he shoots it. So both of us are coming to the same conclusion. And sure enough, 3-4 weeks later, these guys testify under oath. Yeah, we think we're being shot at, and we think it was suppressed. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's right. So here in Utah, if there was suppressed gunfire, I'll probably find it, right? I may not have found it so far, right? I'm still looking, right? I haven't got to everybody's recordings yet. But so far, I don't see any indication of a suppressed shot. All right, so that's just sort of for now, right? For now, it's a placeholder. What we do have are people recording Charlie getting shot. All right, we got somebody standing right in front that records it. We got somebody standing off to the side that records it. We've got a guy up on the walkway that's recording. Doesn't actually get to see Charlie get shot, but we got the audio from him, and it's a very clear recording. And so what I start doing is calculating the crack thump differential. You know what that is. For those of you who aren't that familiar with it, if you're downrange from a gunshot, you're going to hear 2 sounds. One of them's a high-pitched crack, and that is the sonic boom of the bullet as it goes by you. And what's interesting about that is you hear that when the bullet passes closest to you That's when you experience it. So you experience the crack as the bullet goes by at its closest point to you. The thump is actually the sound of the gun going boom. And that travels at the speed of sound downrange. The bullet is way faster than the speed of sound. Right? Bullets going 3,000 feet per second like that. The speed of sound is 1125 at sea level. This is 4,400 feet above sea level, so the speed of sound is a little bit faster up there. But the net of it is, bullets are way, high-powered rifle bullets are much faster than the speed of sound. So they arrive at the target before the sound of the boom from the rifle. Sound of the boom from the rifle, unfortunately, has to follow the laws of physics and travel 1,125 feet per second at sea level. So by the time it reaches the target, the bullet has already arrived, and the crack from the supersonic sound barrier thing, sonic boom, has already arrived. That's the crack thump. So the crack, supersonic, bullet just went right past us. And a quarter of a second later, we hear boom, boom, crack thump, crack thump. If I calculate that time, I know how long that bullet had to travel. That's math, it's physics. And so I measure the crack thump. And I did this in Vegas. And I was doing it from different people's cell phones at different places at the venue, at the concert. And so I'd record crack thump from here, and then record crack thump from the other side, and then record crack thump from up by the stage and crack thump back by the chicken hut. And if you do that from enough places, you can triangulate where the shooter is. So right now, if I use one microphone, I can tell you the shooter is 143 yards away with a 0.23 second crack thump using a 2750 to 2900 feet per second muzzle velocity. So this is where we have to make some assumptions. To me, it looks like he's hit with a 30 cal round. This is not a 223 round. And what I hear in my headphones has a certain resonance to it that's consistent with a 30 cal. Now, whether it's a 30-06 or a 300 Win Mag or a 300 Blackout or a 7mm or a .284 Shaheen, I mean, I don't know exactly, but to me, it's a 30 cal. Right? When you go buy a suppressor, you buy a 30 cal suppressor. Your 30 cal suppressor is good for 300 Blackout. It's good for 308. It's good for all your 30 cal stuff. I think this is a 30 cal round. I don't think it's a Winchester Magnum. So they tend to run 2,600 feet per second to 3,000's hot, 2,900, 26 to 2,900 feet per second. You can get to 3,000, but you're changing barrels every 400 or 500 rounds when you do that. So I'm then calculating, okay, if it's 2,750 feet per second at the muzzle, and I've got a 0.23 crack thump, I'm 143 yards downrange, rough and tough. And then you plug in 2,900 and you plug in 2,600 and you get a sort of a range of roughly where is this shot coming from. Then you go get somebody else's microphone and you measure from there. And if you draw a radius from each one of these microphones, so from the first one, 143 yards. When I get to the next guy, maybe it's 127 yards. I'm going to draw a radius from there, 127 yards. Then I'm going to go to the guy up on the balcony on the railing and do one from there. And from him, it might be 152 yards. I'll draw a radius 152. All of those arcs are going to touch each other somewhere. And that's how ShotSpotter works. And I can do that, with spreadsheets. I don't need ShotSpotter. ShotSpotter is just a computer running the same spreadsheet, that we're doing here. I'm going to draw these arcs. We're going to isolate where the gunshot came from. Right now, with one microphone, I've got a 0.23 crack thump. Now, I'm talking to a guy on X who says he's got a much shorter crack thump. He thinks I'm charting the echo. If he's right, that's going to put the shooter, instead of 143 yards, something like 90 yards, 70 yards. All right. So at 70 yards, we're 200 feet away, 90 yard, 270 feet away. But it's not 30 feet. It's not 20 feet. It's not 15, 20, 30 feet. It's not 40 feet. It's not 50 feet. If it was, the crack and thump would be right on top of each other. Right. So we have a gunshot that's being fired that's kind of at minimum 70 to 90 yards if I'm off on my crack thump and this guy's right, out to as much as 143, 145 yards. Now, the thing is, we see some guy run across the roof dressed in all black. I'll tell you right now, that's not Tyler Robinson, by the way. Guy running across the roof? No. Guy running across the roof is your decoy. He's a professional, and he is not armed. And he works for the agency.
There were two decoys. There was also Zin Yellen, who's been doing that before.
But I don't even know that Zin knew he was being a decoy. I think somebody just brought him in here and said, just be yourself. I don't think he even knew what he was doing, right? Just be yourself and be a dick. All right. The guy on the roof who's dressed in black, think about this for a minute. All right. If I dressed you in a black hoodie, black jeans, black sunglasses, and black Converse, and we shaved your beard off or we dyed it, I don't know that I'd be able to tell that that was you on the roof.
Sure.
All right. All right. Now, if you've got no weapon on you and no identification, you're running for your life like everybody else on campus. What are you talking about? I had nothing to do with it. I don't have a weapon. What are you talking about? If you get caught, you just like, what? I was running. Everybody's running. Yeah, right. Yeah. I was trying to looking for my cat. I don't have any gun. Look, I got nothing. What are you talking about? But everybody saw a guy in black running across the roof. He jumps in a car. We learned that today. He jumps in a car and drives away. And everybody thinks you got a shooter on the roof running for his life. And next thing you know, we got a story about two gay guys that like to dress up like Beanie Babies. They're getting out the etcher and they're writing on the brass. The Beanie Baby kids. Yeah.
I found that. Yeah, totally unbelievable.
All right. So are the guys at Quantico going a little overboard with the cover-up horse shit? I mean, Jeff, unless one guy was black and the other guy was a Jew, I don't know that there's a louder dog whistle that they could blow than he's a transsexual and his lover is a furry.
I totally agree.
Everybody's losing their minds.
But I gotta get to the I gotta get your opinion on the angles, because the guy, the bodyguard, because I've taught to a very few of my advanced students clandestine close quarter shooting. So what about the bodyguard with the Derringer pistol or cell phone or electric gun or flechette? What do you think about that? What do you think about the camera from behind? I know it doesn't correspond with your crack thump, but what do you think of those trajectories?
Well, again, so let's take can I share an image with you in the audience?
Sure.
Is that possible?
Yeah, sure.
If I can. All right, so if I have a shot coming from behind, let's share, so share screen.
Present.
There we go. Present. All right, yeah, present, share screen. Let's see if it lets me share the window. Yeah, here we go.
No, I don't see it yet.
It's coming. Here we go. Just gotta make sure I'm giving you the right image. All right, so this would be, I guess, what some people were suggesting is that he was shot and it went in by his right ear or something like that, right rear, and came out the neck and the front. Is that kind of what people were suggesting, give or take?
I suppose.
Okay. Well, so if that were the case, we would have spatter coming towards the audience and a round that would have exited his throat right near his Adam's apple and headed towards the crowd. And so the question then is, well, then from where was this fired? Now, let's say that the thing on the left comes down a bit and it's more horizontal, comes in, takes a turn, and comes out the front. We still should see splatter coming out of the front, and he is pushed back when he's shot. So when we see him get shot, he's pushed back in his chair. And so to me, there was no question that he was shot from the front in the throat. And the only reason that anybody starts introducing that that's not the case is because people seem to think they see people holding things. But there's no acoustic evidence of any shot fired from the vicinity, even suppressed. And because I picked up suppressed gunfire in Butler, I believe now I'm not saying this is definitive, right? I'm not pounding my fist on the.
No, I love the way you're doing this, because this would be very presentable in court. The way you're doing it would totally be presentable in court.
I'm saying from a likely perspective, right? So is it likely? Is it likely somebody within a 30, 40-foot radius took a shot that would have to be suppressed? Okay, because it's just not showing up on any of the microphones. So is there a suppressor? Now, I don't have it with me. I carry a little Beretta 22 caliber Bobcat with a suppressor. With a suppressor, right? So when I'm walking around with a suppressed Bobcat. All right, so it's a little unwieldy, it's a little big, and that's why it's in my bag. Okay. Even that weapon, I mean, the size of it, the length of it, I've got the titanium 6 hour suppressor. I got the $400 one. It's the nice one. It's the lightweight, smallest. It's smaller than the Sparrow. Okay, and it's still 9 inches in your hand. It's still 9 inches or so in your. I mean, it's big. It's bigger than a big H&K pistol as far as total length. Right, and I've got the tactical 5-inch stuff. I've got the pin fired 5-inch stuff. This is longer. So if somebody,
let me ask you about. I believe that was the weapon that the Sayeret sort of Gideon teams used to go after the Munich guys, and I think they downloaded. They didn't suppress it, but they downloaded the powder, so there was less of an audible bang.
You can buy.
So two questions here. And you'd know this much better than me, because I used to just get my ammo from the government. Is lessening the powder charge to lessen the report, and also specialty rounds, is Glazier safety slugs that stay within the body. They won't, they'll open on a sweater.
Better. So the spookiest round you can buy is the Agia Colibri. And the Agia Colibri 22 cal is not just subsonic. It's like it only uses primer. And so it is the slowest round at the 22 you can buy. It's called the Agia Colibri. And that's about as silent as you're going to get. All right. So if you really want to be subtle, you put that in a little Beretta or a Mamba, black Mamba, and you're in and out. Nobody even knows what the hell happened. So that's a possibility. But again, I'm hearing what sounds like a 30 cal something, whether it's a 308, it could be 6.5 Creedmoor. I mean, I'm hearing something that's not a 223. I mean, I've got, I shoot those too. I hear oomph. I hear something, and I see the impact in his throat. I watch him go back in the chair. It's clear to me that C5, C6, C7 are destroyed on impact from the hydrostatic shock.
Looks like it from me to me too. Yes.
Yeah, his head flops to the side, and it appears to me that C5, C6, C7 are just obliterated from hydrostatic shock. And I think what happens here, Jeff, is it goes in, hits some bone somewhere, whether it was the collarbone or the shoulder plate in the back. It hits some bone and fragments, and a shard, a tiny shard, not the bullet, but let's say a little piece of copper comes out of the right ear. and starts to bleed. And we see the blood build up coming under the right ear as he starts to fall down. But it's not like the whole, like the kid up on the roof at AGR took a 300 Win Mag right here in the mouth, came out here behind the ear, and made like a little volcano, right? So the flesh around it rose up because it, it immediately inflames, and there was a hole at the top of the volcano where the bullet came out. Everybody's expecting everybody's going to get brain bucketed by a 30 cal, and it would if we shot you in the eye from below the horizon. All right, so if we shot you in the eye from below the horizon, we're going to blow the back of your head off. There's no doubt. But if I catch you in the neck, yeah, right. But if I catch you in the neck and I just go through your neck, or I catch you in the mouth and I go through and out here, there's not that much hard bone in there. And the cervical vertebrae, that's like chicken bone. There's not much there. I mean, there's not much in there. So I think what happens is he's getting shot from the front. It comes in the throat, fragments. We see a tiny piece. Well, we don't see the piece. We see the effect of a piece piercing back by here because this starts to bleed. I think I see some ejecta. It's in one frame. People are arguing me that's the cord from his lavalier microphone. I don't know. We'll find out when they do the autopsy, when they release the autopsy results.
Well, I don't think if people asking about that right now, I don't think they're going to release the autopsy, or if they do, it's not going to be the correct autopsy.
Right. It'll be a joke. But let me show you. I'll show you what I think this is. And again, for me, the big thing is trying to discern what's real, what's nonsense, right? So what's of what we saw on that first day, in the first moment, as he gets shot, what does everybody recall? Do you recall see him getting hit and going back like this and then flopping over? And was that a shot from behind? Was that your first instinct? Was he was shot from behind? Or did you build that thinking after seeing what appears to be somebody standing off to the side? And you said, well, if he was shot from the side, well, my initial instinct was, holy mackerel, he was just shot from somewhere out there, high power in the throat. And so this represents what I think happened. He shot from the front, and he shot from 140 something yards away. We see a guy running on the roof. Everybody talking about pistol guns and credit card guns and switch guns. Forgot about the guy on the roof? What happened to the guy on the roof? We got a guy running across the roof. What about that guy? What about that big boom? What about that? What the hell was that? Were all the people who were standing around there looking at the guy with the credit card gun and going, dude, why'd you just shoot Charlie? No. How did you shoot Charlie from off to the side and not have everybody around you strangle you? Where's the entrance wound? It went in his ear and out the front? Well, then wouldn't we have splatter all over everybody in the front row? It'd be like Gallagher. I mean, it's blood everywhere. That's not what happened. This is what happened. Everybody forgot about the guy running on the rooftop? No, the guy running on the rooftop is not Tyler Robinson.
No, I agree with that. Well, what about them redoing the whole ground? So just like Butler, they washed the roof, just like Waco, they burned the fire. Yeah, they pushed it into the fire. Now they've redone the whole grounds. There's a reason that they've destroyed the crime scene, and that somebody took the camera from behind.
Well, yeah. I mean, so if just assume for a second I'm right that the shot came from in front of him, came from about 145 yards out, give or take, and hits him in the throat, kills him, and all the stuff about off to the side is a red herring that came from the FBI. And again, it's like CGG, and the furin cleavage site has nothing to do with the pandemic. Nothing. That's the red herring. So you have to be able to identify what are the red herring. Well, I go into these things looking for red herrings. And as soon as everybody starts saying, is that a switch gun from standard manufacturing? I get emails from them 3 times a week to buy one of these things. $300, and you can get them in 22 Winchester Magnum or 22 long rifle. They're awesome. But I got enough pistols. What the hell do I need a pistol that folds? I don't have got time to unfold a pistol. I like to draw and shoot. I don't want to unfold shit. So I don't have one of those. Everybody's got an opinion. I use science. I use crack thump. Acoustic analysis indicates the shot's coming from 143 yards. Charlie's got a wound in the front of his throat. That's not an exit wound, or we'd see spatter going all over everybody. And the round would have come out and hit cameraman or the guy asking the question or somebody in the foot. Nobody went looking for the round in front of Charlie to recover it. Why not? The round wasn't recovered, right? Well, if it came out of his neck, wouldn't it have just like landed like right in front of him? So nobody's ready to answer any of those questions because everybody plays checkers and I play chess, right? So nobody's got answers to any of that stuff. They can't account for the .23 crack thump because they don't even measure it because they don't know what they're doing. Everybody's got an opinion. Nobody does science. I don't have an opinion. None. I do not have an opinion. I follow what the science is showing me. And what the science showed me last night on my podcast, for the first time in about 10 months, Jason Goodman and I got back together. Jason and I used to do a podcast together every Friday night, and we're doing it for 5 years. And we didn't really want to become an embarrassment like the Stones, right? So we decided after 5 years, we'll quit at the peak of our game. We just solved the Butler shooting. We figured out there's multiple shooters. Jason figured out it's not really Thomas Crooks on the roof. They doctored the photography and all that.
Right.
And so after 5 years, we're like, all right, we're at the top. You know, we just did it again. This is kind of crazy. And Jason starts doing shows with new guys and stuff and bringing up like a new generation of investigative journalists. And he finds this thing a day ago, 2 days ago. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, you've got to come on my podcast and show everybody this. Let me show your audience what he found at the site of the Charlie Kirk killing that changes the entire makeup of what happened here. And that's this. So this is from Jason Goodman at Crowdsource the Truth. And Jason found 4 different UAVs flying around the venue at the time of the shooting. I mean, literally like seconds after the gunshot, and they're all over the place. And they're going fast as hell. They're flying. These are not DJI Mavics. DJI. This is not
they're fast, they're DARPA or something.
It's something, and these are not I mean, this is not Best Buys. This is not, the drone club. Maybe, but we see one, then we see another one, then we see another one. And then one of them looks like it's either smoking, like it overheated and the batteries are starting to go into that meltdown cycle. They do start to smoke. Or it's like a fuel-powered drone that's emitting a heat signature and possibly some exhaust. And it's like, so we went through this last night on my show, and one of them, 2 of them, and he identifies a bird. So we've got a baseline of an organic object. In other words, we see a bird flapping wings and we track it and we can say, okay, that's what a bird looks like, right? There's a bird. We see the bird's flapping its wings, flies into the tree. And then you see one of these things and you're like, well, that's not a bird. That's clearly not a bird. Right? We just watched the bird. This moves like that, like it's like from a bat out of hell.
Like a UFO.
Almost, except there's a bunch of them and they're all different models. Like you can see them. You do the frame, you lock the frame in. Here, I'll show you another one. So I just showed you one of them. Let me show you a different one. So there's like a different model. It's like, well, how many of these things you guys have out there? Let me find it. Hang on one sec. That's one.
Well, what you're inferring is this is a government entity has overhead imagery of the whole thing, which I've said as well.
Well, again, that would be one logical conclusion that people might come to if the government were in fact the who was behind these things. So there's another model in a different spot, different shape, different configuration. And it's like we see one going one way and there's another one all the way at the top that just flew off the screen.
Wow. That one's really clear.
Yeah.
You got one that's like a TikTok?
What's that? Say no. These are not, they're not extraterrestrial UAVs. These are like
that's all government stuff.
Yes, this is like DARPA. This is like Raytheon, DARPA, Lockheed. Yeah. And they're zooming. So last night, Jason's showing us how he's tracking these things. And this one zooms across this way. This one zooms, and the other one up on the is way up high, comes in on a big parabolic arc, banks out of the thing, and starts emitting smoke. And we're like, is that a lipo battery that's overheating and emitting smoke, or is this a fuel powered, hydropower, what would we call it? A gasoline powered drone that's emitting smoke? It's got a heat signature and it's got some exhaust coming out of it. This is, I think, game changing because nobody's talking about it. All right. Now, it's important to know that Charlie Kirk's team, the guys at TPUSA, did have a drone at the event, but they were using the drone to kind of get big, wide angle, high altitude shots of the venue, which if you're like on the marketing team or something like that,
sure,
you're not flying 100 miles an hour to get the shot. Basically, they want to show Charlie, look, people are starting to fill in already, right? So these are the kind of shots they want to get. You just fly the drone up and the drone just hovers. You don't go zooming around.
It's an event montage or homage later.
And where this drone is when it takes this photo is nowhere near the ones that we're tracking that are down like right over everybody's heads, except for one. One of them is up high, and it comes in and does this big parabolic thing and starts smoking. But it seems to me like TPUSA, Turning Point had their own drone operator filming the event from an altitude, and we got a bunch of others zooming around doing something that's not so marketing related, it appears.
But that is really, so I love the way you present this, because I could bring you into court and bring you up, as a expert witness, and you don't have an opinion. You're just presenting. That's exactly. So I love the way you're doing this, but it does raise the assumption multiple sophisticated drones show preparation and perhaps premeditation there, because there was obviously a lot of support mechanisms to get those drones there. They just didn't show up at the last second. So, the preparation of that then indicates premeditation as well, which also indicates the government.
Well, you're going to get goosebumps, my friend. And so is everybody else right now. Where did drones come from, Daddy? Where did drones come from? Says my son. Where did drones come from, Daddy? And why is there a Bombardier Global 6500 descending to 600 feet right next to Utah Valley University 3 hours prior to the shooting? And why did that aircraft return 20 minutes afterwards and descend to 335 feet, 118 knots? What was that about? And how often does it do that? Does it do that every Wednesday? Is this kind of a common thing that every Wednesday this thing shows up, dips down, comes all the way down from cruising altitude to 600 feet, does a loop, and then heads back up to cruising altitude? Is this what it does every week? Or no? And then, well, who the hell was doing that? What aircraft is that? And that aircraft happens to be one of the Hades aircrafts. And the Hades aircraft are intelligence planes. And it seems that we were able to track this. And if you guys tune in tomorrow night, Friday night, to crowdsource the truth, we're going to be doing a special episode. So Jason Goodman is going to do a special episode of John Cullen Investigates, and we're going to be tracking down and exploring this aircraft. This is codename Axel 10. This aircraft came in, and if you see, it dips down and makes a loop right by the school and drops down to 335 feet, slows down to 118 knots.
To deploy drones.
Well, no, this is the pickup. So one of them is the pickup. Yeah, one of them is the pickup and one of them is the drop off. So one of them is 3 hours before the shooting. One of them is 20 minutes after. When they came in 3 hours prior, they came down to 600 feet above lake. Now, keep in mind, the lake is 4,400 feet above sea level. Salt Lake, right? So if you set your altimeter and you think you can go below 4,400 feet, you're going to get very wet. You can't. 4,400 feet is your hard deck. So they're coming in 600 feet above the water, and they slow the plane down to 120 knots. This is a Bombardier Global 6500. This is a big aircraft. 120 knots, dude. That's like stall speed. You're
Yes.
10 knots, 15 knots over stall speed. You're right on the verge. And then it climbs back up to cruising.
Does that have a lower back, like a Casa or something, or
that's the show tomorrow night. So one of the things that Jason is kind of known for is his research into the 727s with their the tail part that opens up and what that's been used for. And so we've documented that quite a bit, and we're going to be looking into this tomorrow night. This is tomorrow night's show, is exploring this aircraft, its history, what is the Hades program, and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys are interested in that, come visit us at Crowdsource the Truth tomorrow night, and we're going to find out, where did it come from? Where was it going? What was it doing for 3.5 hours? And then where was it headed when it came back up and dipped down, did it again a second time? Then where did it go? And the fact that it's like, if this was our guys and they left the ADS-B transponder on, it's like, what are you guys, idiots? That's how we caught you. It's like, unless, is this Israel spoofing our transponder?
I thought they turned off the transponder.
That's a different airplane. So that was a red herring. That came out the day up, which is always fascinating to me when everybody's like, oh, well, there was an airplane that left Provo Airport and it turned off its transponder. I'm like, either this guy comes forward or this is an issue. The guy came forward. It's a cosmetic company guy. He says, here's where we went. We went down there. We picked up these people. We do it all the time.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Oh, yeah. He came forward and said, no, this is my plane. Here's when we bought it, and all checked out. It's a red herring. And it's like, these bastards in Quantico drop that shit online on purpose, just like in Vegas. Remember in Vegas how fast the thing in the Tropicana turned into? It was a Saudi assassination attempt. But the guy in the Tropicana wasn't Saudi. That was Jason Buff. So where did the story come from?
Behavioral science unit.
Quantico, exactly. They're like, find me a guy who looks Arab. Find me a guy in the crowd who looks Arab. We need to tell everybody with a false piece of evidence it's a Saudi assassination story so that they poison the well. Now the evidence doesn't support the story, and so everybody's, oh yeah, no, the Saudi thing, that's a bunch of horseshit. That's a guy named Jason Buff, and he was playing softball. That's the real story. Same thing here. Plane takes off, transponder goes off. Now everybody who hears the plane story is going to go, oh no, that was already debunked. That was a cosmetics guy. How did that story come up so fast? And it's the wrong story.
Yeah, that's like the letter supposedly dated September 2nd from Israel, which was actually dated September 12th.
Right. And somebody.
But all of this adds to a deep global
cover.
Conspiracy. Yeah.
Cover. Yeah. So now, how did nobody? So in other words, everybody found the plane that left Provo, and turned off its transponder, but nobody noticed this thing coming down from cruising altitude to 300 feet and doing donuts? Nobody noticed that? How's that possible? So the cover-up stuff goes into it instantly. Kash Patel says, we got the guy in 33 hours. I'm like, no, you didn't. You made up a cover-up story in 33 hours.
And
Let me play.
It's terrible.
Do we have time? Can I play one little clip for you guys? Is that okay? Can I play a clip for you?
Yeah, real quick.
All right, real quick, and then we're out of here. I want you guys to watch this because I got a tip that one of the people in this video was connected to Tyler Robinson in some way. I forget if it was from school or from work or something like that. Watch this and tell me if you can tell who it was that knew Tyler Robinson. Tell me when you can see this, Jeff.
Got it.
Script. I guess I'm an AI prompt now.
I'm not AI. I'm a real human. No, we are not made with prompts. No, we're not made with prompts. We're all genuine.
Yeah, we're real people.
Is this real? I don't know. I really don't.
This is kind of funny, actually. It's so meta. This is very strange.
I feel like someone wrote me into a script. I guess I'm an AI prompt now.
I'm not AI. I'm a real human.
None of those people were real. That's all AI. None of them are real. Now prove to me Tyler Robinson is a real person. I haven't seen anything that clear of this kid. I haven't seen anybody perp walk him. I haven't seen him in handcuffs with the sheriff. I didn't see him coming to get booked. Where's the interview with his dad? Where's his mom? Where's the press with all the tents that they usually set up? You know, they usually have catering brought in. They got tents. They got the satellite trucks. Where's all that stuff, Jeff?
That's an excellent point.
It doesn't exist.
I've seen that in corporate espionage. A supposed scientist is all over the place in different places.
I suggest there is no Tyler Robinson. There is no dad. There is no mom. And he's going to commit suicide in prison within the next 10 days, and then he'll be cremated. And you won't be able to prove that he ever existed ever, whether he did or he didn't. Show me the footage. Where's Anderson Cooper? So Tyler, you little prick, where's the interview with the boyfriend? Is he still dressed up like a Beanie Baby? Where's the interview with dad? What was it like to have to turn your son in? Right? I'm Anderson Cooper. I'm a compassionate guy. Where's Anderson with the dad? Where's David Meir? Why is David Meir not on the campus? They wanted to put Charlie in the Capitol Rotunda. They wanted his body laying in state in the rotunda. But the press wasn't there when the Beanie Baby turned himself in. And the press are still not there. And we haven't seen him walked down the hall. We saw him sitting in front of a concrete wall. We just watched people getting interviewed in the street. And it's not real. Prove to me Tyler Robinson is real. Prove to me Tyler Robinson isn't what I just showed you. And I don't think anybody can. And until they do, I suggest this is almost a test of capability. Could we assassinate someone and have no one have any idea what just happened?
Wow.
All right. So in other words, could we assassinate the Prime Minister of Japan and have people think that this guy in the crowd did it? Could we assassinate the President of France and think some Francophile yellow vest transsexual did it? It appears that we can because we just did.
Yep.
And with that, my friend, I can't thank you enough for having me back.
Please say one more time where everybody can catch your show tomorrow.
Yeah, so it'll be a special episode of Crowdsource the Truth. If you guys go to YouTube, or I'm sure we'll be live streaming on X as well. We'll probably be simulcasting it on my channel, which is, you just go to youtube.com/@ I am John Cullen. You don't need these little underscores, or if you pull me up in X or Twitter, whatever, it's I_AM_ John Cullen on X. You don't need the underscores on YouTube. Just do youtube.com/@ I am John Cullen. I'll take you right to the channel. We're going to do a live show tomorrow night, and we're going to look at each one of these UAVs. We've got 5 of them now. We've got 5 UAVs flying around the venue, and we're exploring this aircraft, which is a Hades spy plane, registered to Leidos, and that's what we're getting into tomorrow night. So I encourage everybody to check that out. If you want to support my work, you go to patreon.com/I am John Cullen. And for less than the cost of Spotify, you can find out what's really going on in the world.
Wow. Well, that was very eye-opening. Thank you so much, John. And I'll be watching that as well. And we'll have you back on.
It's great to see you again. It's great to have you out there digging and peeling the onion, man. It's great to see you.
All right. Thanks much.
Thank you. Talk to you guys soon. Be good.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay, I have a second guest, and he's patiently waiting, so I want to bring him on right away. Anders Brunstad grew up in a small dairy farm in Brunstad, Skyeven in Norway. I've been to Norway, great country. And he has worked for 3 companies, running his own business for 31 years. His business was destroyed by COVID-19 policies. He has 41 years of experience in business and data analytics, 2 teenage sons. Since losing his business in 2020 due to the COVID-19 restrictive directives, he's been conducting extensive empirical research into COVID-19 policy data, as well as statistical analysis of all government activities during the COVID-19 period, including the 5G rollouts. And so he's a whistleblower who has filed a landmark criminal complaint with the ICC, the International Criminal Court, alleging genocide, crimes against humanity, and war crimes linked to COVID-19 measures, toxic mRNA vaccines, 5G deployment, and terrorist funding. So please welcome Anders Brunstad to the show. We're changing course rapidly here. But Anders, first of all, my apologies for making you wait so long. I don't know if you heard, but that was very important to hear about Charlie Kirk's murder. There were several revelations there. And secondly, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Jeffrey, because I can say that I can relate to what was said previously, and I can validate that this is I cannot say it's 100% validated story, but I can say that it is validated inside the premises of my validation of the story. So as you know, Jeffrey, I'm kind of whistleblower, but let's say my mission is to tell the truth. And I've been working for a long time with different parties to tell the truth. So I don't care who is, let's say, the party to the truth. I'm wanting to be the part of the truth, and you have been showing a very interesting story today about the truth, and I'm just wanting to add to this that my story of the truth is that the truth is really amazing, and the people who propose the truth are typically not inside the narrative of those who propose truth. And I would say that you are most likely aligned with me. I don't always have the perfect evidence, because some people will say that this or that person are not the best person. Okay, I understand. I can agree, but I can say that I have been studying so many different people, and I believe that these people are pretty good in the science of truth. And there is a lot of people who are not so strong in the science of truth. And I don't want to go down there because there are so many rabbit holes. Nobody wants to go down there. But I can say that I believe that the truth is down there. And I would like to ask you, Jeffrey, because you know, I have been challenging you, and I have a lot of data, and I have a lot of information to work onto the screen. The
Oh, good.
question is, Jeffrey, in this context of truth telling stories, I have, let's say, a truth line aligning with some people like Robert Oldham Young, and these people are, to me, truthful. To me, they are truthful, and you and some other people, they question their credibility. But I would say Robert Young is truthful, and it's okay to challenge him. But I would say, do you agree that he should be challenged, that he should be having a right to be exposed as a scientist? And I know him very well. Do you know him as well? Do you understand that he has a compelling truth about cancer and diseases? Do you understand that he has, I would say, a gold standard of truth? How much would you follow me on this?
I agree with you that I agree with, I've had him on the show several times, and I agree with everything you're saying there. No disagreement, and I understand, as we were talking before we went on air, that he's been very kind to you. So no disagreement. But what I want to get into is your complaint. So you're saying these actions are alleged to violate the Rome Statute, the Norwegian Penal Code, sections 162, 255, 270, 352, and international laws, including the Nuremberg Code. Now, I'm familiar with the Nuremberg Code violations. I think most of us who see the bioweapons are familiar with the Nuremberg Code, but not familiar with the Rome Statute. What's the Rome Statute?
So if you go back to the Rome Statute is about the historical, let's say, claim that there is a violation, or it might be a violation of the Rome Code. And the Rome Code is about the right for humanity to have a safe environment. And what is the case probably is that the bigger story is that the Rome Charter, or which is kind of going back to the 50s or 60s, the Charter is describing that we humans, we have a right, a human right, and this is violated, and this is a problem. So do you understand that, Jeffrey, that we have a violation of our human charter connected to the Rome Charter?
That's what I'm asking you. I want to, so it's coming out of the city-state of Rome itself. That's who's the originator of that doctrine?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you go from the Roman doctrine, you go to the Nuremberg doctrine, and these are the same elements. The elements are that if you have a violation of the Nuremberg protocols, this is coming into the human situation, and this is where we are meeting it. And I would say this is a big problem, Jeffrey.
No, that makes sense. Okay, because the Catholic Church, and I'm actually, I don't know if you heard the beginning, but I'm a product of rape, orphaned, and adopted. But I was adopted by a Catholic orphanage and then Catholic mom. So Catholics have a big right to life focus, and so the Rome Doctrine makes sense to me in that regard. So your key allegations are fraudulent virus narrative, misuse of PCR tests, unlawful communicable disease act use, illegal gene technology, toxic mRNA vaccines. They're not even really vaccines. Harmful 4G, 5G deployment. Continued harm under store. What does that mean? Continued harm under store 2021, 2024.
Well, in my opinion, if you go into the history of harm linked to those, let's say, problematic injections, you will find that this was a real problem because I can show it to you, and this is probably where we need to go.
Okay, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
The story is that mankind doesn't really understand that this is it's a fraud. It's a fraud. It's a story where people are into harm, and me and you as a Christian, we will understand this is very bad. But if you understand and analyze the story, it's going to be much worse. So I suggest that you allow me to share what is really going on.
Sure, go ahead.
So I'm trying to get into the story now.
So settings, present.
So if I going into the hardcore of this, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay.
And so is my audience. So my audience is very
hardcore.
sophisticated. They're very aware of this. We've talked about this many times. So we'd
Yes.
love to see your document. Go ahead and put it up.
So the hardcore is that this is it's a military hardcore attack on the people. Okay, but I will go into details.
It's not a DOD in America through the PrEP Act. It's democide. Democide is by definition when the government kills its own people. So I've said all that before. Yes. We're very aware of that. My audience is in agreement with that.
So what I'm saying now is verified by Sasha Latipova and Catherine Watt. They are prime witnesses along with James Roguski of what I'm saying now, okay?
Yes, I've had Sasha on many times. She's a good friend.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that there is a military development inside the Biomedical Act of USA, which is then, let's say, under the harmful act of, then there are two agencies. It is the agencies of the DARPA and the
BARDA.
harmful agencies. Yes.
Yes. Yep.
And this is DARPA and BARDA. So what I'm saying to you now is going to be very harmful for the claim of some people inside the agencies, which are claiming that this is not harmful, but I can say this is harmful. So BARDA and DARPA did this development along with other agencies, and they are destroying life and humanity. And if you go to, let's say, call it for those who are supposed to be friendly to us, which is, let's say, people in this community, where those people are including, I'm not sure I want to tell you, but these people are really bad. They are claiming that it was not happening because of what happened, but let's say it did happen. It did happen. So if you go to those who did the real harm, killing tens of millions of people, you will find that this is people who are inside the community of DARPA. And it includes really bad people.
Yes.
And I must say that these people have killed tens of millions of people. Tens of millions of people. And I must say, it's very terrible to know what I know. So I'm not sure what I will tell you now, but I would say that these people who did this, they really did this. And I'm not sure I would attribute all of these actions to them, but these people did this. So if you want to really know who did this, I can tell you who did this.
We're
And
waiting.
It's very bad. Yes.
Go ahead.
Do you want to know any details? Yes.
Yes. Because so far
Are you
you
there?
said stuff we know. You're saying stuff we've already heard. Like I've said, had Dr. Young on. Had
I'm trying to catch you with. I'm a little bit outside. So if you can tell me something about what you claim, I would be happy to know what you claim. Okay?
I don't understand.
No.
So
what I'm saying is that what I'm seeing is that these people, they have made a lot of harm. A lot of harm.
got it. Yes. Agreed. Democide. Talked about it for years.
Yes. And I want these people to be recognized as harmful animals in this, let's say, whatever is coming out. And I believe these people are ultimately very bad.
We got that. Okay. Well, thank you for coming on, and wishing you a great success with your complaint. I'm a little how it's a criminal complaint, or is it just an affidavit? Do you know?
Yeah, I would say that this is coming out as a good complaint, and I would be very happy to move it on. And you understand that what I'm saying is coming out ultimately. So these people are generally into really harmful operations. Okay.
Yeah, agreed. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and good luck with your complaint. And we will continue to follow you and pray for you. Thank you, Anders.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, a bit of a language barrier there. The email correspondence was pretty good, but he quotes Anders Brunstad, a whistleblower from a Norwegian organization. The evidence is undeniable. No virus was isolated. The harm caused by the toxic vaccines and the 5G radiation constitutes crimes against humanity. The ICC must act swiftly to protect lives. Dr. Mark Bailey, virology's foundations are flawed. The absence of isolated contagious viruses undermines the entire COVID-19 narrative. Nothing really new here. Dr. Stefan Lanka, control experiments prove the cytopathic effects are not caused by viruses, but by laboratory conditions. So I was trying to get there where I wanted to see how his complaint was doing and why it was criminal, because again, civilians bring civil complaints, only governments bring criminal complaints, and I'm not even sure it's a complaint so much as an affidavit, as a request for the ICC to do something, but we didn't quite get there as well. But that's okay. He's making a great effort there, and we certainly appreciate him. So I also wanted to share with you some other couple stories. One of which was the Federal Reserve has cut interest rates for the first time in 2025, and it's not much, but it's something. It's down from 4%. It was so members of the Federal Open Market Committee voted to reduce the benchmark federal funds rated by 25 basis points and settling the new target price at 4% to 4.25%. Should be a lot more than that. But my question is, why now? Is that part of the reward for Charlie's murder? Because there's a lot of things happening. Again, you see Ben Shapiro and a bunch of other Jewish Zionists going on Turning Point. You see Netanyahu coming out, and Tucker called this out, how Bibi really hijacked his supposed tribute to Charlie and made it all about him and Israel. And then, of course, the security team, Echelon or Schaefer. Schaefer's got the former FBI head of HRT coming on and saying, "Oh, you can't protect anybody from that far away," but they are very much in thrall to Israel. Susan Weiss was running Netanyahu's campaign. You got 250 legislators over in Israel, and you've got this new tech coming out. It is CYBERWELL, which is on all the major platforms, and that CYBERWELL is simply there to go after anti-Semitic behavior. So we know that's a cover for if you're daring to criticize Israel, because the Ashkenazi Jews are not even Semitic. Semitic means anybody from the region. The Ashkenazis are not. They are from Europe. Harry Tuttle, the drones were there before and after. No. What John was saying was the drones were dropped off by the aircraft like an hour before, and then they were picked up like 20 minutes after the shooting. So what this connotes is that this is a government operation, because nobody has drones like that except the government. That's the whole point there. And then, of course, whether the under the arm clandestine shot, I had thought made sense because Charlie was plated up. So since revised that Charlie was not plated up, I've revised my story a lot. Now John seems to be confirming my original supposition there versus the cracked thumb. But what was really evident is that it is a vast conspiracy. There was a lot going on. It certainly wasn't a lone gunman. And I think John's fascinating point about, is this guy even real? Where's all the interviews? And of course, we now know all this gets covered up. But Charlie's martyrdom brings this bright line between those who build a script, which is all the mainstream intelligence-owned prostituted media and the FBI, and those who are really investigated, like John, like Mike Adams, like me, like George Webb, like Jason Bateman, all kinds of other guys on X. The line is very clear. I mean, we don't even really need the FBI anymore. We need a coalition of citizen investigators. And I think that's something I'm going to work on with Team America here shortly. But more corroboration of the corruption and weaponization of Western medicine is that there's a new study that shows that those who get the flu, since I was sniffling and tearing and now I'm not, again, because of my curative Bay hypochlorous spray, which really is great stuff, and it's in the jeffreyprather.com shop, along with a lot of other great things. But the Cleveland Clinic has released the results of their system-wide study on the effectiveness of the flu vaccine over the 2024-2025 season, covering over 53,400 employees. They tracked those who didn't get vaccinated and those who did, and the vaccination is extremely poor, even though they had a policy of requiring it. And so the bottom line is the flu vaccine had negative effectiveness. That is, you were more likely to get the flu and test positive by a substantial margin if you got the flu shot. So it's actually very bad for you. It's like all the other bioweapons that are coming along now. It is making you worse. It was making you worse by negative 26.9%, almost negative 27%. It makes you more likely to get the flu, not less. So pleading with all parents and moms to wake up, and particularly don't get your kids vaccinated, any of them anymore. It is very bad. Give me some of that. I'll tell you what, South Park would have a good time. I used to watch South Park as satire until they would satire Yeshua, but they wouldn't satire Muhammad. So they were hypocrites. So I stopped watching South Park, and I think you should too. I'm also shunning anyone who says that this is a fake, that Charlie is not dead. They're shamelessly seeking self-publicity through this great tragedy of this great man, of this great martyr. So I banned one person on X for this. I admonished another. They apologized. They were just showing me something, but I'm not buying that at all, and I'm not going to tolerate that, and neither should you. As I've said recently, we've got to stand up and make a difference. It's also worth noting that there's an old papyrus that confirms the 10 plagues. So it's not Judaism that I'm against. Torah, Old Testament, is truth. Yeshua fulfills Torah. It is Zionism. And that's a huge difference to understand the difference important in it. But this is called the Ipuar Papyrus, attributed to a scribe of the same name. is in the Dutch National Museum, and it dates from about 1550 to 1290 BC. And that is a window that overlaps with the traditional biblical timeline of the Exodus around 1440 BC. And it's not conclusive, but it describes in detail what is described in Scripture for the plagues. And that's real interesting. That's on my Patreon. That's on my locals as well. So again, I am not against Judaism. I am following Mosaic law because I am a Christ follower. I am definitely against Zionism. And the Israeli people are no longer the chosen people. If you look at the parable in the vineyard in all three synoptic gospels, when they kill the son, they are no longer the chosen people. And the state of Israel was never the community of Torah followers, never, because most of the time it didn't exist. And that brings me to my final point here, is I had a letter. I told you a while back that I had that young kid who wanted to come on. He said, I'm the youngest syndicated guy and about anti-Semitism. And I saw your show where you had Kirk on, and then I didn't have Kirk on that day. So somebody fed it to him, just like when Jared Armitage put out my my MSPB report, Merit Service Protection Board report, which is a changed report to lie about me, and lied about it saying it was a court document. He would never even find that thing. So how'd this kid find me and know about that? It was fed to him by Israeli agents, by the government. I've had another guy who was claiming to follow me, and then it turned out that he didn't watch any of my shows. But there are sincere folks out there, and if they are sincere, even if they're not Patreon follows, then I will answer them. So I've had this one guy, Lester Shavitz, going back and forth. Dear Major Prather, thank you for your extensive response. It's taken me an entire month to respond to your response because I've had to consult with a few Orthodox rabbis to try and get specific response to the very many points you made. Somewhat amazed that I got the same answer from all the rabbis, which is very non-specific as to the details, but very specific as to the central message. That's telling. What they said to me is it's worthless to respond to you, except to say you're a true believer in your religion, which has nothing to do with Judaism. They said that any response that goes beyond that would only strengthen your belief in your own system. Given that, I would ask you to likewise respect the believers in Judaism, which I do, and not continue to attempt to integrate Jewish traditions, Jewish thought, Jewish history, and Jewish scriptures and sacred liturgy into your religion, Christology, or Christianity. It's apparently a sign of weakness in your faith, in your belief system, that you continually co-opt Judaism as a means of explaining why your belief system is the only real truth. Actually, so may I suggest you start afresh and declare Christology or Christianity is a religion rooted solely in the event of the resurrection of Christ, which establishes him as your Lord and Savior. Synoptic Gospels provide you with everything that you need, including a complete moral structure, without relying on things like the 10 Commandments or the 5 books of Moses. So set yourself free. Don't seek to tie your religion to a religion, Judaism, that you yourself condemn as illegitimate. Doesn't make your religion look good at all. You must reject all monotheistic belief that has gone before the resurrection of Christ, because Christ is in fact a second deity, is he not? Central fact is that Christianity is polytheistic. The two great original religious belief systems of Western civilization, Judaism and Christianity, could live forever in peace alongside one another if only the believers in those two belief systems would just accept that they are both indeed totally separate and distinct yet legitimate theological belief systems that happen to fundamentally accept the same moral code among men. All it takes is mutual respect of one man's religion for another's, and vice versa. Best regards, Les Shavitz. And so I wrote back, thanks for listening and writing in such detail. I appreciate your polite tone. I ask pardon for offending you in Judaism. You must have missed my commentary that Mosaic law is foundational for civilization and that Jews are a race of priests, not just Kohanim, for the world, preserving God's word and law. First, I do honor Judaism and Jews, perhaps more than you. I acknowledge that Mosaic law forms the basis not just for Jews, but for America and indeed all modern Western civilization. The Ten Commandments are predominantly displayed in the U.S. Capitol and the Supreme Court. Seated figure of Moses holding the tablets of the law is a central figure in the east pediment of the exterior of the Supreme Court building. Inside the Supreme Court chamber, a marble frieze depicts Moses holding the tablets and a carved flat-faced tablet with Roman numerals representing the Ten Commandments. The bronze gates separating the courtrooms from the aisle feature an engraving of the two tablets of the Ten Commandments. Additionally, a full-scale model of the interpretation of the law showing Moses holding the tablets is located on the same floor as the Attorney General's office. The Library of Congress also features a statue of Moses holding the Ten Commandments. The National Archives has a bronze representation of the Ten Commandments embedded in its floor. And Jews are the law holders for the world. Second, you and your rabbi's response, or rather lack thereof, shows that you and they are respectfully extremely ignorant of Yeshua and Christianity. Jesus and all of his original disciples were Jews practicing Judaism, honoring all high holidays. Jesus was a rabbi who taught in synagogue. Paul was a Pharisee. The Last Supper was Pesach. That's the Jewish term for Passover. By the way, the Afikomen in Pesach is of Greek etymology, showing that Judaism has been influenced by outside cultures. The Afikomen is the piece of the matzah that holds up the hidden Messiah that I've talked about before. Yeshua's two commandments are straight quotes from Torah. Deuteronomy 6, which is on all the mezuzahs, which we post on our front door. Mezuzah is a little tube that has scripture on it. Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one. Love your God with your whole heart, might, and power. And Leviticus 19, love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus famously said he came not to do away with the law, but fulfill it. As Messiah, he also fulfilled hundreds of Torah prophecies. This is why many Jews become Yeshua followers. As an intelligent critique requires informed debate. Suggest you speak with some Messianic Jews to fill in the gaps, as your present line of argument is woefully ignorant and thus insufficient. So you're not trying to humiliate anybody or anything, but I'm just trying to have a debate, just like Charlie was as well. So yeah, commandments are good for any moral society as well. So remember, I stand with the unashamed. My die is cast, the line crossed. I won't look back, let up, slow down, back away, or be still. My past is redeemed. My present makes sense. My future is secure. I'm done with small planning, smooth knees, colorless dreams, tamed visions, mundane talking, cheap living, and dwarfed goals. I don't need preeminence, prosperity, position, promotions, plaudits, or popularity. I live by faith, lean on his presence, walk by patience, lift by prayer, and labor by power. My face is set, my gait is fast, my goal is heaven, my road is narrow, my way rough, my companions few, my guide reliable, my mission clear. I cannot be bought, compromised, detoured, lured away, turned back, deluded, or delayed. I will not flinch in the face of sacrifice, hesitate in the presence of adversity, negotiate at the table of the enemy, ponder at the pool of popularity, or meander in the maze of mediocrity. I won't give up, shut up, let up until I have stayed up, stored up, prayed up, paid up, preached up for the cause of Christ. I am a disciple of Yeshua. I go till he comes, give till I drop, preach till all I know, and work till he stops me. And when he comes for his own, he will have no problems recognizing me. My banner will be clear. Freedom is never given. It is earned, fought for, won, and taken. So take it.